Good evening. Patrick here, Eight Questions With, and welcome to the show. We are here on a Friday, trying to get back to our normal time, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But we have had well, we lost two shows this week on Tuesday and Wednesday, so I wanted to get another one in. So I did. Um, and so we have Samantha will be here with us tonight. Samantha Spellman will be here with us. So I'm really happy about that. She's a delightful young actress, and we are going to have a lot of fun talking with her. Hey, Professor, how are you, sir? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Um, Gotta tell you guys, I gotta say this. I know you guys hear me say this over and over again, but if you haven't seen some of the shows that we've been doing lately, do yourselves a favor, man. Check us out. We have playlists of 25 shows per block, and you can listen to the shows as a podcast. It is formatted for a podcast, um, so you can go ahead and do that. Hey, Lorenzo, I see you there. All right, Lorenzo Leonard's in the house. That's cool. I like that. I'm starting to see a little bit some new faces here in the group. Doing the Facebook show because I'm dual streaming. I'm dual streaming to both here on the tube and also in our Eight Questions with Facebook group. And I noticed some people are starting to pop up there, so I'm really happy about that. And I want to say thank you so much for doing so. And invite your friends to the group. All right. Hey, Stephen, have not seen you for a minute. Hopefully you're doing well. There's the mighty Bud Files back in the house. Thank you guys so much. Um, Last night's show was an absolute hoot. We talked to Paul Dale, who runs By the Horns Productions, By the Horns TV Productions. We were talking about filmmaking in Louisiana. His film Sewer Gators um, had an absolutely awesome show last night. Paul is just a great guy. Um, I watched Sewer Gators. In fact, I'll probably be reviewing it today or tomorrow, definitely this weekend. It is 60 minutes of fun. Um, Super fun, super humorous. Everything you want in an indie horror comedy. Um, oh, thank you so much, Drew. All right, that means you must got your community tab. Steven's had now at 80 subs. You know what? Well, when you get to 90, let me know and we'll do a push. We'll do a push for you. We'll push you to 100 easy. Wow. So you must have got the community tabs, Drew. That's great news. Great news. Yeah, the community tab is a wonderful tool, for sure. Uh, let's see. Now I gotta watch this. Now I gotta watch this. Uh, oh, okay. Oh, wow. This is gonna be so much fun. We're having fun. I gotta tell you what's going on the calendar here too. You guys gotta know. You gotta kind of know what's going on with the calendar. So we've added some shows here. Um, we've added a few shows. I've actually gone on the road um, too, as that goes. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So tonight we have Samantha Spellman. Spellman will be here in a few minutes. On Sunday the 4th, me and the Cheetah will be on the road heading on over to the Cadaver Club. We were supposed to do the ISC show last Sunday, but Ben was unable to make it. He took a well-deserved vacation, who went to Hawaii, and so he got back to decompress before getting back into the swing of things. So we're doing the show, ISC show, on the Cadaver Club on the 4th, and that'll be at 6 o'clock p.m. Tuesday we have actress and life coach, comedian Mary Factor will be here with us at 8 p.m. I have never talked to a life coach, so I'm interested in seeing how that works. On the 7th, we have the return of the lovely Mariah Owen. She'll be here on the 7th at 8 p.m. On the 8th, we welcome in poet and author Raven Knight will be with us at 8 o'clock. On the 9th, we added this show. I just put it up today. We will be talking to an actor Salvatore Rucoco. I'm trying to kill a name. Lorenzo wants to let us know, and I definitely wanted to shout that out, that American Hun Story is now on Tubi for free. That is a very, very fun movie starring Lorenzo Leonard and a whole host of hot babes and some really cool. It's a really cool movie. It's different. It's a different type of movie. That's for sure. There's dashing heroes and hot babes and Lorenzo Leonard. What more do you want? So that will be that's on Tubi right now. I think I put the link. I'll put Lorenzo's link, his interview. I'm going to put that link in the Facebook group. So if you're part of the group, head on over there. I'm going to put the link there. You go over and check out our interview that we did with Lorenzo and Telly Fair, who also worked on the movie. I believe he was the producer, director. So yeah, we talked to both Lorenzo and Telly. All right, people are coming in tonight. Hi Betty, how are you? Yes, tonight's guest is Samantha Spellman. She'll be here, and we can't wait for her to get here. She's going to be a lot of fun. Not only is she an actress, but she's also a social activist as well. And so we'll be talking about some things like that along as well, because Lord knows we need to talk about it a little bit more than we already are. So we're going to be talking to Salvatore uh, Rucoco. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that name. He is in the brand new film called Padre Pio that just came out on Gravitas Ventures, starring Shia LaBeouf and directed by Abel Ferreira. That just came out today. So he's in that movie, which is based on the true story of one of the saints in the Catholic Church, Padre Pio. He was supposedly to have the stigmata being the wounds of Christ, through the hands, through the feet, and along the side. He supposedly had the stigmata, and he became a saint. The Catholic Church deemed him a saint. Salvatore's in that film, and then in the near future, he will also be in The Equalizer 3. He has a feature role in The Equalizer 3 with Denzel Washington and directed by Antoine Fuqua. So not too bad for a young Italian actor. I mean, two heavy hitting projects right off the bat. Yeah, pretty cool. I'll be watching Padre Pio. I'm not Catholic per se, but I will be watching it and I will be reviewing that. Hey, Rocky, how are you? All right. Rocky Reynolds, also a fine actor who's appeared in 1923. He has his own business, and he also was a guest here on the show. So I'm glad you guys are here. This is going to be a fun show tonight. Let's make sure our girl is having no trouble getting on. All right, I don't think so because I don't see her. Let's see. Oh, okay, let me go find her. Oh, she still has 6 minutes. She is in good shape. All right. Let's see. I don't think so yet, Stephen, but you will have a chance to tell her that you are a fine country singer. I am so glad you guys shared us out. I do appreciate that very much. That's amazing. Thank you again. And let's see what else we got on here. Oh yeah, the June 10th. See, I told you we're going to be busy. me and Echo Zero, who works on the Echo side, and he also does the Midnight Hour. He and I will be joining up to head on over to the House of Horrors on June 10th at 8 p.m. We will be co-hosting the show. Stephen is going to be working in Florida, working as a press. Or no, he's working at the show itself for Spookala. So me and Echo Zero are teaming up, and we will be welcoming in Conrad Farja will be our guest. Him and his new cast for his 48-hour film competition. He got together his cast and crew. They made a movie in 48 hours, and they've won multiple prizes for it. So Conrad has been a guest on the show too, but now that he's got a brand new show, a movie to talk about in Head Case, we will be talking to him on the House of Horrors, and we definitely will invite you to come over and to visit that show. By all means, go to all my live shows that I'm mentioning here. Most of them are, if not all of them, are going to be already down in my wall. Go by there, hit the notify me button. That is the best way for you to know whenever we go live. Hit the notify me button. Do not count on the bell. The bell does not always work. The bell does not always toll for us. But hit the notify me button. That always works. All right. Wow. The 11th. The third week of June here will be our busy. Oh, I'm just looking at it and just thinking. I was gonna say it's gonna be our busiest week, but I'm looking at it and going like, not really. So on the 11th of June, we will be welcoming in our friend Stephen Chang will be here with us at 3 p.m. He is a publicist and promoter extraordinaire. If he likes you and he believes in you, you are getting promoted. That's all there is to it. And he will be here with us on the 11th. On the 12th, we will be coming together for a massive show. This is probably one of the top 5 shows in the history of our show. Top 5 as far as star power goes, for sure. We are welcoming in Jerry Montano, bassist Jerry Montano, guitar legend John Christ, both played in Danzig. They will both be here along with James from the and James and Jonas from the Friendly Men, and myself. We'll be here at 3 o'clock for a massive show here, June 12th, here on this channel. Yeah, that's definitely going to be one of the biggest shows I've done, as far as sheer star power goes. So hopefully you guys will come out for that. Those who can, that'll be awesome. On the 13th, we are back at our regular time as we are welcoming in actress Elise Muller-Devereaux will be here with us at 8 p.m. On the 14th, the lovely Carrie Ann Fleming will be here with us. A fine Canadian actress who has her career has been amazing. Super cool career. A lot of cool things that she's done, and we'll be talking with her on the 14th. On the 15th, we are talking to actress and singer John Marie Land. That is a great guest for us. We are so happy to have John Marie Land here. She is badass as all hell. And our guest is here, and she also is badass as hell. So, Trenchy is here. Trenchy, thank you for last night. I had such an awesome time. I'm sorry I got bumped out, but that was awesome last night. Let's go get our guests and let's get this show started. Let's do it. Hi, Sabrina.
Yes,
I've been practicing that line.
Is Spellman from the Sabrina show. Hold on. The
I've
blurring in the background looks really weird on this. It's cutting off my whole top of my head.
Uh-oh. Yes, I was working on that line all day. I was hoping that Cheetah would be with me, so I was going to say, hello, Sabrina, and then I was going to have him meow, and that would have been hello, Salem. And then you would have said, good night.
Nice.
That would have been it. Hi, how are you?
That's where I came up from my stage name, actually. My first name is my real first name, but I always get the "Can you wiggle your nose" from Bewitched, so I was like, let's make my name sound kind of witchy, and that's where we ended up.
That is so cool.
I
So
don't think you
Samantha from
know.
Bewitched and Sabrina from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and her last name was Spellman. Okay, that was yes, it was. Whoops, I think she took herself out. Uh, yeah, that was fun. Uh, I hope that we hope that Ethel recovered in fine shape today. Oh my gosh, that was too funny.
All right,
Okay.
sorry about that. I accidentally exited out. I'm trying to fix my background. It's in the settings on this particular area. Okay.
Uh, Thank you. If you guys feel free to share us out, that
I guess
will
we'll just
help
leave
the
it
stream.
as it is.
Oh, there we go. Get a. Is that now? Is that your real? Is that your real house that we're looking at behind you?
Yes.
Okay, it's a fine house.
Thank you. I'm actually moving out of this townhouse and closer to Chicago soon.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to talk about that because you are a Chicago-based actress.
Yes.
Um, yeah, that'll be it's gonna be very interesting. I've been enjoying you sharing your acting class with me this week. That's been a lot of fun. And wow, what a teacher you have. Uh,
Yeah. I've only
I
been in
will,
a couple classes with him, but I can already tell he's wonderful.
yes. And it's funny too because you mentioned that you mentioned who your teacher was, and it was funny because it's like it's Glenn Morshower, and I'm going like
Mhm.
some actors they have done a role that defines them. I mean, we could like Melissa Joan Hart, right? Or yeah, or Elizabeth Montgomery. But in this case with Glenn, I think the one I'm not sure if he's mentioned it or anything like that, but to me the one role that identifies him with me was the season he was on 24.
He was in 52 episodes of 24. So I believe it was more than one season for sure.
I think he
But
was
yeah,
cool. I think it was
I
season
haven't really
2.
seen 24, much of 24, but I do know him from The Resident. He is the father of the character Matt Zuckery plays on there, and um, and the Transformer movies, obviously, and Star
He was
Trek
also
back in the day.
and X-Men, Days of Future Past.
Yeah, he was
So
somewhat typecast as a general. You know,
yes, that's right.
yeah,
It wasn't Days of Future Past. It was the first class. I think first class. That's where he was on. So yeah, it's like it's cool that as an actor, you know you hear that a lot of times, especially character actors. The fact there's a couple of actors have mentioned that, like wherever they go, no matter what they're doing, there'll always be that one person going up and going like, "I know you,
yeah.
and I know
He's
you."
working on a film that he's producing in and starring in as well, and I can't really share a lot about it. He's shared it with us in confidentiality, but it's going to be really cool.
Now, here's the big question: is if he's telling you this, did he also turn around and encourage you to audition for it?
No, like I said, I've only been in a couple of his classes, and he's been working on the film for a while now. So
Hmm.
he had it cast way before I came into his life.
Oh, that's too bad. That would have been really. It would have been fun for him to. It would have been fun for him to at least pick a couple of students out. At least.
He did.
You know,
The woman who plays his wife in that film is definitely his he calls it the mile something, the extra mile. She's an extra miler for sure.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, don't you think you're an extra miler?
I am
I think
two
so.
classes in, but yeah, they I told a dirty joke at the end of class, and they said it is I fit right in.
Well, yeah, you telling the okay, okay, you have to tell me that off camera. Um,
Okay.
yeah. Uh, so I'm super happy you're here because you are. I said, when I did the show, it was funny because of how it worked out because I lost two shows earlier this week, and so it was just two people got ill and that happens. But as I'm looking there, and I'm looking for someone to talk to, because I wanted to talk to somebody this week. Not that I don't
Mhm.
talk enough, but I said to myself, says, I want to go sort of back to my roots a little bit, and doing when I was doing this show, and I want to go back to talk to somebody who's just starting out on their career, because to me at this time, Samantha, it's so exciting. It's people who see you, that know you, or like me looking outside, looking at you, tracking your career. This is like a super exciting time for any young actor. It really is, because you're just getting into it. You're starting to take classes. You're starting to go on sets. You're starting to do getting on the stage. You like you're working as an understudy. You're going
Mhm.
around. You're going up and you're putting
I've
posters up.
been working towards this in the industry since 2017.
So you
So
you
yeah.
and you know how hard it is.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
not. It's
at
not.
first I couldn't afford acting classes, and then I ended up getting a settlement, which is a kind of a long story, which allowed me to start taking the acting classes, which is where I've really made all of my connections, right? Other than being on set for background acting.
Oh, did you, and yes, how many background? I mean, you've been doing background acting too.
Yes,
That's a
I
very
have.
important.
That's how I got started. So in 2017, I got in a car accident,
Mm,
and I ended up getting wrongfully terminated from my job because of the injury. Um, and that opened up my availability. And my cousin Esther had been doing background work on Chicago Fire, and she had posted a Snapchat of them in between takes. And the main actors of Chicago Fire were doing wheelchair races, and it was hilarious. So I was like, that looks like a blast. How do I get into that? And she showed me all of the Facebook pages to follow that posted the casting calls, and you could submit. And so I submitted to Fire a number of times before they selected me for a Molly's bar scene. And I believe it was season 3, episode 1, where you can see me all over the Molly's bar scene. And
no.
I was just, where has this been my whole life? I didn't know that I just fell in love with the industry. And I was like, I have to do this with my life.
And of course, then the one when one door opens, another one closes, one opens, and
Yep.
so you were able to take that first step. Now, had you ever done anything like that before? I mean, in high school or elementary school, did you ever
Um,
acting at all when?
no, no. I did try out for a play once and in high school, and they told me they basically the part that they wanted to stick me on was like, yeah, I don't really want to do that. So I didn't continue it in high school, but in college I did take some theater classes. That was fun. Um, our group ended up winning uh, the best play, and we ended up getting out of taking the final. So that was cool.
Um, now, when
But
you were
yeah,
growing,
other than that,
now,
no
now,
acting, nothing like that until 2017 when I got on set.
now, have you always been based around in Chicago or Illinois, growing up?
Midwest. Yeah. Most of my life, Illinois. Um, I grew up in Chicago suburbs, and then in middle school, I spent 2 years in Wisconsin, and then ended up moving back to Illinois for high school.
Now, I mean, how, you know, what did you think that you would be doing at this time before, what happened with the accident and whatnot?
Yeah. Well, I ended up, I was really trying to get my degree in chemistry.
Okay.
But I ended up, analytical chemistry ended up being a little too hard. I tried it 3 times, couldn't get through it. And then I found out that they made it a lot easier after I failed it 3 times. So my degree, I ended up getting like a minor in chemistry, but a degree in statistics. So I thought that, I would take that degree in chemistry and go for forensics. I wanted to be a crime scene technician, um, and, analyze crime scenes, solve the crime, and give families closure.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm
Now, now,
not
have
doing
you, have
anything
you,
with it.
it's a very worthy cause, and a lot of people do that because they've been touched by something in their past that led them down that road. Was that the case for you?
I would just say just following the O.J. Simpson case as a younger child. really just got me interested in that.
Well, it was a rough case.
Yeah.
It was a rough case. Still being talked about today. Obviously, still being talked about today. The various, yeah. I mean, I lived out in California at the time when that happened, and yeah, it was absolutely bonkers. Um, but that's I can see how a case like that, a high profile case, generally leads people down the road. They're like they're either like intrigued by what they see on TV, they're
Yeah.
outraged by what they see on TV, or a combination of both, or they've been touched by it personally. Like something that's happened to them personally on some sort of personal level that leads them into it. It's very very few people ever just roll out of bed and say, "I'm just going to become a CSI." It's
Right.
not one of those,
Because
it's not one of those professions that you
it
just
can't
roll
be
out.
pleasant, going in a room with a body in it, if it smells especially. I can imagine. It's something that I'm still intrigued by, but since I'm pursuing acting almost 100% of my time these days, I don't have time to pursue that anymore.
Well, you get to, though, but well, the thing is, though, now you get to see some of that stuff when you start, when you start doing, scenes,
Oh
or
yeah,
you're actually going
and
on
I've
set.
seen some really neat makeup, special effects makeup on the set of Med. So yeah,
Now, have you done that yet? Have you been underneath any makeup, special effects makeup as of
I have
yet?
not. No, no, but I've seen some
I
really
can't wait
neat
till they do your head.
special effects makeup. There was one guy in an episode of Med that I was on that had pushed a priest through a glass door and killed him. But on his arm, I saw him at lunch, and I got to see it up close. They made it look like his bones were popping out of his arm. It was really cool. And then there was another guy who had a really big boil on his ankle that I got to see up close.
So you would think that you're sitting there and you look at that and you go like, like, especially if you're sitting at a crafty and you're sitting there looking at that and you go like, I could be, do I really want to look at that? But then again, there's it's half that artist in you is looking at it and going like, you know, I want to do that. How come they can't do that for me? I want to do that. What does it take? It doesn't necessarily gross you out. It intrigues you, it
Yeah,
draws you in.
yeah,
Like I said, I can't wait for you to get your first I can't wait for you to do your hair for the first time. Put makeup over your head and make make a mask out of you. That's always been, a lot of people, they have to calm them down. They have to, tell them to breathe and relax and everything else. And and the thing about it is, though, is they work so damn fast. You're sitting in the chair and you go like, "Whoa, is this going to take long?" But then when you're outside looking in, it's going by really fast. It's like, "Oh yeah, okay, I can handle this." Um, so now, how many shows were you on? Like your very first show you walked on. I mean, what did they tell you as far as being a background actor? What were some of the do's and don'ts they told you to do or not to do?
So while we are on set, um, we're actually not supposed to talk to the actors unless they talk to us first. And um, a lot of it is just miming and pantomiming. Um, and when you reset, you want to just make sure that you make the same movements that you did the first time, over and over. If you're drinking a drink in the bar, you want to do it at the same time that you did it the last time. And
Oh, that's gonna
yeah,
be hard to tell.
pretending to talk,
Yeah, you always wondered about that. It's like, are you really talking to a scene partner if your background, and then they just edit it out, or are you just sitting there just like, and just like you said, you're talking without saying anything.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's hard work. Were you surprised at how hard it was? I mean, did you have any expectations when that happened? Like,
Well, I have a lot of dad jokes in my memory bank, so I just was going through those over and over. So
okay,
it depends. So when they sat me at the bar, you had to kind of mimic they sent me with a guy who they're like, okay, you guys are on a date. So he put his arm around me, and we were, talking and pretending to flirt, and
all flirting without saying a word.
yeah.
Oh, that's got to be weird. What's it like when they say cut? Do you like is it like I mean, do you immediately start talking simply because you couldn't have talked before, or you just go ahead
Sometimes,
and
or you're just like, you just relax.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because don't they shoot shots? I mean, were you surprised at how? I mean, doesn't it look like when you watch on TV, you'll see like a car drive in front of in front of a building, and you go like, okay, that seems pretty straightforward,
Mhm.
And then two guys jump out of the car and they go inside of a building. You think, wow, that seems pretty simple. Were you
Mhm.
surprised that were you surprised by how technical it was? Like the same scene has to get shot like four
Oh,
times
yeah.
over, huh?
Well, I worked on a scene on Empire where we did the same scene over and over again for 11 hours, more than 11 hours, minus our lunch break. And it was in the tiny Berwyn courthouse. And it's just amazing how many people a production takes. This courthouse was packed full of people. So,
Did
yeah. And
anybody just sit there and wait, put the white flag and say, "Yeah, I've been here long enough. I'm out of here."
oh, yeah. Terrence Howard at the end, he was like, I'm going to my trailer.
I love Terrence Howard. I don't blame him though. He's a great actor. Why do you need to have him on a set for 11 hours for anything? Because that guy,
It was Hakeem's custody battle, and they want to do a lot of the close-ups of the actors, all of the close-ups. But that day was really funny too. Um, they had I had been right behind Andre Royal, who plays Thirsty on that show, and we would line up behind each other every time to reset, and he would quiz me on the characters in Heroes because I was like, I remember you from Heroes, and he was quizzing me on the characters' names and what their powers were. And his character, he was in Heroes for 2 episodes, and he could create vortexes, and he threw himself into one. So who knows if he committed suicide by vortex or ended up in another dimension? I
are you
think they
talking
left
about
that open.
was this the fourth season of Heroes or one of the original?
I can't recall which season it
Okay.
was. Um,
Um,
but we would go through the courthouse and then reset again. And at the end of the day, I go to give him a fist bump, and he starts going like this instead. And I was like, yes, please throw me in a vortex. I can't take doing this scene any longer.
now, what was your first project where you actually got a line?
That would be Sparrow,
All right.
the web series that I'm in. Yeah.
The web series that happened to be on the tube by the chance? I mean, if it is, we'll
It's
put a
on
link.
YouTube. Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
We will be getting that, and we'll be putting that down below so we can go watch Samantha hard at work in Sparrow. So tell us a little bit about Sparrow. Now, this is your first speaking role, so
Yes.
obviously everything's leveling up big. It's no longer background now. Even though it's a web series,
Hmm.
it it's still web series Chicago Med. Well, guess what? When you get lines, that goes way to the top of the chart. Because it's a little bit like responsible. You have a lot more responsibility. Uh,
Hmm.
so did you audition for the Sparrow? How did you get the role?
I did. Bryce had posted a character to audition for in some of the Chicago acting Facebook groups, one of them. And I ended up sending in a self-tape audition, and we did a call back and all that, and he liked me. So um, the rest is history.
Now, what's your role in the show itself? What's Sparrow about? Sounds like is it anything like Red Sparrow? Is it a spy thriller or is it a drama?
So it is definitely it's a superhero web series.
Oh, okay.
My character, I play a good one of the good guys. I'm the CEO of a tech company. I have hacking skills, and I'm using my hacking skills to help the vigilantes track down the villains. Yeah, I would say I'm totally a quirky, eccentric nerd in the
Now,
show.
how much of your character is you?
Um, Probably quite a bit, considering the
So
degree in statistics and very analytical mind. Yeah.
so is it safe to say that not only are you an actor, but you're like a fangirl as well? I mean, you go to all the you go to all the superhero movies and stuff like that.
So it's Sparrow. Sparrow's a web series. It's only come out on the web, but we did have a big wrap party for it, which I did go to. And Bryce has actually got bigger plans for. He has a spinoff called Night Wolf, and that's another series continuing the story of Sparrow, which I did not film in, but he wants to bring me on for he's got a set of films, a series of films that he actually wants to do instead of a web series. He wants to turn some of this into films.
Sure, I get that. Obviously, superhero films are white hot. People are coming in. They're saying hello. Let me go over there to our chat and say hello. I see Mighty Casey's in here, and our good friend Al the Bat, also known as Al Lucard, known as the Bat. Raymond, thank you for coming in, sir. I see you there, and Katie, thank you so much. So I'm glad you guys are here. I hope you're enjoying the show. Um, yeah, this is a lot of fun. I knew this was going to be fun. I knew this. So uh, now, what kind of movies do you like to watch? I mean, and
Oh,
you tend
all
to
over the board.
audition?
I am all over the board. I really want to go see the new Guardians of the Galaxy. Big into I grew up watching comedies. When I was 12 years old, I would watch Wayne's World. I'd come home and watch Wayne's World every day after school because it made me laugh so hard. And then I got into all of the Adam Sandler movies and Chris Farley, Tommy Boy, all of the silly, stupid, funny movies like 50 First Dates, Wedding Crashers, Bruce Almighty, any of those
It's funny
comparing movies.
it was funny because last night I was actually for the first time went to a friend's live, and he invited me up, so we're talking, and this young lady came in there, and she was so insistent. I mean, it was so funny. She was so insistent that David Hasselhoff had done Happy Gilmore. I mean,
Oh my
I,
God.
I I thought she was just joking. I thought she was just pulling our leg, like we're going like, no, that was he, yeah, he played Shooter McGavin. I'm going, no, that's Christopher McDonald, and so we thought it was just a joke. But she kept on insisting over and over and over, and we're like, wow, she really believes that. So we
Mm,
looked. Oh, you got the movies confused.
yeah,
He
no,
has been in he has been in an S. Sandler movie. He was in
the
Click.
guy who's like, I eat pieces of it like you for breakfast. He's like, you eat pieces of for breakfast?
Yeah. He we he played yeah, that's right.
Shooter
I think that
McGavin.
was Grown Up. And so he did she got confused with that, and no, he did Click. Uh but I like comedies too. I like, I think a good comedy, like you and I were talking off
Mhm.
screen, that comedy is hard. That's
Yeah.
one thing I discovered when I talk to folks here, actors and actresses and whatnot. Comedy is hard. Comedy is probably the hardest thing of all to do. It's you have to work at it. You have to work at it, but you can't let anybody know that you are working at it, because you
Hmm.
have to make it seem like it's all natural. Like,
Right.
how do I hit
You
that?
have to make a strong, bold choice and stick with it. I've done some comedy training in my acting studio Chicago classes, and while it's from plays, um, yeah, I would say it's hard too. But I've watched a lot of comedy. I'm gonna be working on a scene from You're the Worst on FX, which was absolutely hysterical with the scene partner in class this coming week. But I'm also into horror films. I loved all the Saw films, and
You just got fans right away. You just
no,
got you got fans.
some romantic like The Notebook, uh, who wasn't a fan of Titanic when it came out.
Right,
Um,
right.
yeah.
See, Al saying if you can do comedy, you can pretty much do anything. I'm with you on that. Definitely, Al. Yeah, if you can do comedy,
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
I'm really hoping to get on SNL. That's a big dream of mine.
well,
Um,
I don't
yeah.
see why you can't. You just continue to work hard for it. It's not like SNL is ever going to go off the air. It never will. It's been on the air for over 40 years. And so many comics have cut their teeth on it. Um, but like I said, our chat here are predominantly horror film fans. So when you sit there and you sit there and you say you love horror,
Oh
now
yeah.
all of a sudden now we just got now you just got a whole new group of fans. And just let you guys know, right above there, you'll see that I pegged it up there, is Samantha's Instagram page. So you can go
Yeah.
over there and follow her on Instagram.
And my friend Aaron, he actually made a film on Tubi. Um, let me pull up the name of his film. It because it was really good. Let's
Sure.
see.
Now, were you in this film?
Evil Lurks. I was not in this film, but I did watch it, and it is definitely worth watching. And
No,
he's working on another one called Doomsday, and then he's writing a whole nother script after that. So
see, now how is that? See how that works? She comes in there. This is her time, her stage, her interview, and she turns around, shows respect and support for a peer. See, how could you not be a fan of Samantha Spellman? Seriously. Uh, but let's go back to you're doing Sparrow. You cut your teeth on that. I mean, did it help? Did it help as far as the nerves go, knowing that it was going to be a web series? Was there sort of like in subconsciously you're going like, okay, I can sort of like if I mess up, it's not going to be nearly as bad as because it's only going to be a websode, or was it
no,
just like
no, I still wanted to do my best work. I had some flusters because I think I had to say I kept saying Coal City instead of the actual city in the first episode, and we'd laugh about it, and but with filming, there's a lot less stress compared to theater because you get to do as many takes as you need to get it right. But with theater, it's live and it's a whole different ball game.
um yeah. I'm just looking at your friend's movie who you just got done plugging has a fan too. Our good friend Al the Bat. Evil Lurks is great. My buddy Bill Russell's in it. See,
Very
you're promoting it. People know about it. That's fun.
cool.
Fun.
My
Now,
friend Randy Bernales, who I did my reels with, I met him on the set of a commercial for Garfield's Beverage Warehouse, and he has his own service that he helps actors out with creating reels. He's wonderful, affordable, and I did some scenes with him to do that to have some scenes for my reel and some scenes to submit to agents because I'm working on getting an agent right now. And he is going to be in the last 6 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead. This
wow.
coming season. So
You
I'm
would love
watching my friends' careers flourish, and it's exciting.
it is. That's what I'm saying. We're going to watch your career flourish. We're all here watching you flourish. This is an exciting time right now. It really is. This is the exciting time. It's like, by the time that you come back, hopefully it's going to be one of those times where I say, well, you want to come back and talk to us? And hopefully it won't be one of those things where it's like, yeah, here's my manager. Call him. Because that does happen. Let me tell you. So you went ahead and you did Sparrow. You came out. Now for sure. Now, did you go back after filming Sparrow? Did you turn around and go back to background work, or was it too late for that?
So no, I haven't. I've only done background work one time since the pandemic started because I live about an hour and a half outside of the city. If the traffic is really bad, it can take me a long time to get down there. And during the pandemic, they added that you have to drive down there like 2 days before and test for COVID, and then 2 days later you would film. So the number of miles and time putting it into it just wasn't worth it for the pay to do a background work at that point. They've lifted all that, thank God. You don't have to be vaccinated anymore. You don't have to do the COVID tests. That May 11th. Praise God, that was the end of that. The last time I was on set was 61st Street. It was a little hole in the wall bar on the south side of Chicago, and Holt McCallany, I think I'm pronouncing his name correct. He was in Fight Club. He came and sat next to me at the bar, and he was like, "Oh, I wonder what a pretty girl like you is doing in a place like this." And I go, "Oh, The Mummy. I bet you're wondering what a place like me is doing in a girl like this."
Okay. Yeah, that's probably the one bad thing about doing background work, isn't it? Is the fact that you don't get paid very much, and it's a lot of sacrifice of your time and effort, and
they do feed you pretty well on the sets, though. I did enjoy Chicago Med, and Chicago Fire had the best food. You could get a ribeye steak for lunch they do a buffet, and you come and go through a line and pick out what you want, and the best food.
Now I want to go on after you came out of Sparrow. Now,
yes.
and really start auditioning. Do you like to audition? Is that something that you enjoy doing? Because even especially
of course,
doing self-tapes, because
of course you have to enjoy auditioning, or you'll never make it in this business, right? My good friend Michael Kostroff, who is my mindset coach when it comes to this stuff, he's got the Audition Psych 101 course, and I am adopting his mindset when it comes to that, because he says it's a chance to act on a Tuesday, right? And this may be your only chance that you get to play this character. So have fun with it, do this character justice. And he says you're not getting the fucking job, right? You're going up against there's too many actors. You're usually going up against 100 to 500 other actors. You're not getting the job. Most of the time, you're not getting the job. So release yourself from the need to get the job and just play the character and play the scene. He said he had one friend who was auditioning for a dual role of a couple of the witches in Wizard of Oz, and she was really nervous. And he told her, "You've got 2 jobs here. Get the fucking dog and get the fucking shoes. You can do that, right?" And yeah. And then another of my favorite stories that he tells in his Audition Psych 101 course is that they keep calling him up for the role of Thénardier in Les Mis. And they've called him like 8 times. And the last time that they called him up, they said, we're sorry we keep calling you. We love you. We just don't have a spot for you. And he's like, "Are you kidding me?" He's like, "For the 3 minutes that I'm in here playing Thénardier, I'm the only Thénardier there is." And Ash, I can't do it right now. You can't bother me. I'm sorry. My daughter's coming in trying to interrupt me. Sorry. So he's like, "I love playing Thénardier." He's like, "I'll play Thénardier for 3 minutes as many times as you want me to." He goes, "You're not Thénardier, you're not Thénardier, you're not Thénardier. I don't see anybody else."
Well, that's a good mindset. That is a good mindset. So he basically is teaching you, like, whenever you do the role, even when you're auditioning,
get into that scene and do the scene work, and just this may be the only time you get to play this character. So
wow, yeah. Okay, throw your energy into it.
Yeah.
How would you like to play it in a play or a movie like Les Mis? Would that be something you'd be looking forward to at this point, or do you think it would be a little?
I'm not as familiar with Les Mis yet. I would love to see it. I want or read it. The plays that I've worked on in class are like I have a monologue from Mary Page Marlowe. Vintage Red in the Dust of the Road. The Glass Menagerie. Let's see. What else have I done? There's a number of other plays. There was one where I played a woman who's kid was just beheaded and she was being interrogated by the cop. And
Yikes.
he was insisting that she did it and she didn't have anything to do with it. That was a tough scene. Sometimes these scenes can be emotionally draining when you know you're like you really put yourself into it and get emotionally invested and go through what the character is going through.
Yeah. So that's why I don't. That's probably why I could never be an actor, because if someone told me go there and okay, your kid just died and got, hereditary, like, well, okay, I can't use hereditary because I just laugh. I don't like the movie. But I mean, saying I can understand the emotion behind it. If I had to do that, like, your
Mhm.
close to you passed away or whatnot, and
Mhm.
you have to get into that mindset. You have to get into that role.
Yeah.
Like, you could do that 2 or 3 times, but man, it's like you hear that a lot, where actors will come in there and they'll give it their best, but they can't always maintain it because it's such a stressful moment. It's like, you're gonna be able to do that. You better get this fucking take down, because
Yeah.
I can't be doing this for, I can't be doing this for 9 or 10 times. You're not gonna get me at my best at that level. So you better
Mhm.
get it right the first time, and then
Yeah.
that's
And the last play that I did at Acting Studio Chicago was a Bernard Shaw play. And we were playing with English dialect with it, so that was fun. It was a play about the ridiculous marriage laws in the time of it. I think it was I think it was 1920s. I'm not 100% sure on that. Um, but yeah, this I believe that this caused a big shift in the play caused a big shift in the marriage laws, which was cool. But
it could be
but I
good.
have to say that play was long drawn out and it was almost torture to read.
Right, right. Now, what do you look for in a scene partner? I mean, what, you hear actors, they'll sit there and say, well, such and such was really generous. They're so kind, they're so giving, they're so this.
Mhm.
What does that mean? What does that mean when an actor will come up there? If I talk to Joe Smith and he says Samantha is a really giving, she's generous. How why is he using those words to describe your acting?
Um, it's more than likely they're making strong choices, and you can feed off of them and their emotions and how they're saying things, and you can just feed off of each other, and be able to really like listen to each other and react. So yeah.
Is that taught, or is that instinct?
Some of it is Meisner. Um, some of it is instinct. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Um, okay, so let's go to your, now you have not you told me that you're being an understudy now. I mean, it's understudy is the person who's acting. You're standing, basically. You're going to be reserved. It's like, if the main star goes down, you're up. Um, have you ever done any live theater yet before you became an understudy? And how does one become an
No.
understudy without that?
So I'm not actually an understudy in anything. I am actually just I am I shouldn't use the word just. I am interning for a play called Being Seen, which will be at the Den Theater this summer.
Okay.
It starts June 15th and it goes through July something. I am, or June 14th, sorry. Um, what my job is, I am promoting the play. I am going around Chicago. I'm putting up posters, leaving rack cards in businesses, and I'll usher some of the nights. And they are actually training me to be stage manager so that I can do the stage manager position during the understudy performance.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Um, I love that, by the way. Driving around
And then
putting up
it's
flyers and stuff like
building
that.
building strong connections in the theater business in Chicago as well. So yeah.
No, I love that. When you told me that that's what you're doing, that makes my heart beat a little faster, because I came from the same background in music, so I understand what you're doing. And I'm like, because someone's got to do it. Why not you? And boy, even the owner of the company that I work for, he would drive around and put up flyers and posters and stuff like that. He was not above
Mhm.
doing very important. Um, it seems like it seems like promotion more is so critical these days. I mean,
Mhm.
um, is this your first press that you've done in your career so far?
Yes. And speaking of music, I play the flute, and I'm taking singing lessons with Betsy Hammer. She is in a band with Adam Sandler, and she is just a wonderful person. She's so sweet.
Um, yeah, but this is your first press, and I'm so happy
It
this
is.
it is with us. I was hoping, I was hoping that's why I was asked. That's why I asked the questions, like because promoting yourselves. I mean, a lot of the folks in the chat, we're all YouTubers. So in a sense, we all try to promote our channels, or we're all doing what you're doing. We're always trying to get out there and promoting everybody else or promoting oneself. But it does seem to be a art that is very hard to master. Um, how important do you feel that it is? I mean, do you feel comfortable talking about yourself?
Yeah,
And because I feel that, I feel your confidence
I'm pretty
coming.
outgoing, and I love to talk and build relationships and all of that, and I'm silly. Um, I was very shy and reserved in high school, and probably broke out of my shell at about 19. And I've been a big extrovert since then.
Um, that's pretty much reverse of me. I was a introvert while I was younger. Now I'm sort of intro. Um, but with some doing this, then I don't know where all this comes from. So let's talk a little bit about you did a movie called Till Death Do Us.
Till death do us, correct.
Yes. Now that's probably you said that was probably your biggest project that you've done so far. Is this
So I wouldn't say that. I had a scene in the movie where I
okay?
played Amy. She's the mistress of the. Uh, I actually am the work wife of the lawyer, the main character's uncle, um, and he is having an affair with her. So I have one fun scene in the movie. Um, they didn't really show my face a whole lot, so I'm unable to really use it for my reel.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, but
Now
it
that
was
movie,
fun.
but that movie aired on
On
Lifetime though.
Tubi. It's on Tubi, and I believe, or if it's not on Tubi yet, it's coming to Tubi.
Okay.
And um, through that through that movie, I met Simeon Henderson, who also makes his own movies as well.
Okay. Oh, that's a good question for you. People are going to drop questions, by the way. It says, Samantha, thank you for coming. Our friend Hobbs was wondering, do you enjoy cooking? Um, is-
So it all depends on what kind of day I've had. But if I'm, exhausted, then not really. But I do love, I have a few special recipes. I'm actually gluten free. And I try to avoid soy, most anti-inflammatory foods because of an autoimmune condition that I have. So I love making like gluten free stuffed shells, um, grilling chickens. I'm a yeah, I love trying out new recipes if I've got the time and energy. Absolutely.
how many auditions a week do you usually submit yourself for?
Um, Maybe two. I'm on Actors Access and casting networks, and I try to submit myself to the stuff that fits me the most. My career coach has actually done a branding portfolio for me, so that is just absolutely spot on. Her name is Anastasia Edwards. She is an expert at what she does. If you're an actor and you need to figure out your branding, she is a genius.
Yeah, because
So I
actors,
know
actors,
which roles to submit for, what I would fit and what I wouldn't, and yeah, based on my branding, I will submit to roles if they fit me.
now we were talking earlier about like how we're talking about rolling out, doing, becoming a CSI, and it's like, like there's there's something behind there that would drive you to work that way, work in that field or what have you, become a
Mhm.
doctor, become a nurse or a chemist or whatnot. But one of your passions out away from the camera is you are a very much an activist about human trafficking. So
Um,
where did that come from? How did you get
yes.
involved?
Okay. Here's the story. I met a massage therapist who would come to your house through Facebook group. Maybe it was a local Facebook group, right? And I had her come over and give me a massage after that car accident that I had, right? And it turns out that she told me all about this ministry called Eve's Angels, who had actually saved her from a life in the strip club, where a lot of these strip club owners will also pimp out these women, right? And they will brand them with tattoos so that they can tell them apart. Um, and so Eve's Angels is actually run by a woman named Annie Donewald. So I started going to this ministry after I met Christina, who is the massage therapist that was saved from that, at a church called Parkview Christian Church in Orland Park. And we would go into the strip clubs and just serve the women and ask them if they needed anything. We would bring them things. We would bring them snacks. And if anyone were to express interest in getting out of that life, we would help them. They put Christina through massage therapy school to help her. Um, which led to my buddy from Ink 180, Chris Baker, who, when I can, I donate money to him. He has a tattoo parlor in Oswego. He does tattoos. His wife does piercings. But his ministry works on covering up, and I may cry saying when I'm talking about this because it's near and dear to me, especially being a parent in this world with this stuff going on. He will remove or cover up the branding tattoos that these women have been given for free to free them from this life. And he has a wall that has a tree where he'll put their handprints on. And he has so many handprints on this wall. It's so touching. He also runs like social media safety classes. So now that I took my daughter to one, so now she's aware of how these predators work online and how they groom children. And she, she'll never send a nude photo to somebody she doesn't know because that's really how they get them. He also covers up. He goes into the jails and covers up gang member tattoos that are trying to get out of that life or removes them. And he'll also cover up self-harm scars for free.
You mentioned your daughter, so she's old enough to be aware of the dangers of that. We've all been touched by some way or another. Several members of our community, we found somebody who we thought was a nice person, and we considered him a friend, and or acquaintance, or a friend for some people, and then we found out that he wasn't. He was a monster, and it was quite shocking, to tell you the truth. It was like, what's the
I went
last
to high school with someone like that. He disappeared one day. We were on set or not set. I'm so used to saying on set now. We were on campus at Triton, and I was like, "Where did Greg go?" Turns out he got busted for making child porn. His victim was 8 years old, and he was 18. So yeah, he got out for a while, and then got right back in there for taking photos of kids. It's like sometimes I wish they would just leave them in there because, I don't know if they're able to be rehabilitated.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with that they want to be rehabilitated. That's the key. It's like, do you want to be rehabilitated? Because a lot of them don't. A lot of them just want another.
Right.
They'll say and do manipulate to the system until it works for them. I didn't mean to do it. I'm sick. I'm this and that. I just want to get out. Give me a tether or something. And then once they get out, then they cause havoc all over again. I mean, now if you get So do you speak on the subject? Do you or do you know anybody other than the first lady you met? Do you work with any of these folks at the church?
Um, right now, I don't. I have submitted an application. They're going through a background check so that I can volunteer at Naomi's house, which is a safe house for women who are transitioning out of that life. They're recovering.
Um, I take it you're going to carry that with you into your acting. The more successful you become, the more they're going to benefit from that through awareness and through your advocacy. Was this the first thing you ever was an advocate for? And were you surprised by where it came from?
Kind of. I mean, I always feel I'm a big woman of faith. I'm not really religious, but I'm spiritual. Um, and I say, I feel like God leads me, puts certain people in my life to lead me certain directions. And if this is, where he's leading me, then I will go.
Right. I can understand that. Does your faith play a part in the roles that you apply for? Do you look at certain, or is it right now? Is that something down the line where you have more freedom of choice? Right now, I mean, I don't think you'll do anything that's offered to you. I don't. Nobody ever is. But I mean, is it something like if when you get to that place, is it something that you'll be looking to do? Roles that will showcase some of the things
Um,
you want to.
Most likely. Um, I would say it would be really, really hard for me to play a racist woman because that is so anti anything that I stand for. Um, but I do realize that those roles are very important to tell these important stories as well. Like my friend Lauren was in Jazzman's Blues and she played the sheriff's wife. Um, it was a heartbreaking story. Um, so, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence if I could play a role like that. Um, I I'm trying to think if there's any roles that I wouldn't do, because there's the raunchy comedy that I would still do, like in You're the Worst. I don't know. It's hard to say. I
Sort of
think it's all
interesting.
fun. Most of
It'll
the
be
roles are fun. I did just do an audition for a character who was a a poker prodigy, and she um, plays she counts cards in blackjack, and so the storyline is they're kidnapped to and forced to play a game of blackjack to save their lives. So I
okay.
was like, that would fit me perfectly with the
Uh,
cards, with the statistics degree.
oh right, yes, yes. Uh, I never understood the term of counting cards. It's like there's a few cards of the deck. I mean, it's like
Could
I
be
don't
too.
understand.
Yep.
Yeah, I never understand like what they can't.
Yeah.
I can't count. You can't count cards. What do you mean? All I'm doing is keeping track of what cards are being played. What's wrong with that? I mean,
Hmm.
you're taking my money. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, you
when
need to
I
know
do.
how many decks they're working with to start with, right? And
Right,
are they ever going to give you that information at a casino? I don't know. I don't really gamble because I know the odds are against you. But if you have one deck, then you have like what, four aces, four kings, four queens, four
right.
jacks, four of anything. So
Or
your
everything.
chances to start with, your chance of any card is 4 out of 52, right?
Right. 25.
Um, right, and you just kind of have to keep track and have a really good memory with what's going by you, to be able to continue to calculate the odds of what is the chance that the next card um, that comes up is going to be a card that I need.
Isn't it the purest form of gambling, though? I mean, here you are, you're at a casino, you are gambling, and you're sitting there and you're going like, what are the chances of me getting another king when I've already seen two being played, and now there's
Yeah,
like maybe
and
30.
then and how many other cards have been played, so that
Right.
your other chance will be two out of however many cards are left in the deck.
Yeah. I just never understood that where they in the scenes of those movies where they sit there and you're counting cards. It's like, and
Hmm.
you're not. I mean, I go to the one armed bandit, and it's like, what are the odds? me hitting the jackpot 1 in 10,000. What you're not counting the fact that I'm going to lose 10,000 times before hitting it? Isn't that not counting?
Mm-hmm.
I totally get it. So what's next for you
Blackjack
right
is a
now?
little
Or
easier though, because
how did you I'm sorry.
there's a
How
number of
did you
cards that stand for 10. All the tens, all the jacks, all the kings, all the queens, right? So
okay?
that's 4, 8, 12, 16 out of 52. And then your chances of an ace are 4 out of 52 still. So, okay. What was the new question?
I guess to draw an ace, what would that be? Like one of that? That'd be less. I think that would be about 5%, 5 point something percent of getting an ace.
What is 4 out of 52? Out of curiosity,
20. Let's see.
52 is 7.7%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, because sometimes I watch it on ESPN and they're playing the World Series of Poker, and they'll sit there and they'll have a hand and they'll sit there and say this person has a 93% chance of winning or 7% chance of winning or whatnot. So they're all obviously that's actually what they're doing too. They're
Yes.
counting cards as well. That's
I
how
always thought sports statistics would be a lot of fun to get into as well.
Now, how did you end up in this class that you're in? And
Mhm.
such a
With Glenn
fine
Morshower.
yes. How did that?
So there's an app called Clubhouse, and teachers like Michael Kostroff, Jeffrey Blake, and Glenn Morshower, they go in and they talk on that app. And I tried to take a class with Jeffrey Blake. His teaching style is not for me, but that's okay. But I also found Glenn Morshower. My friend Jeff actually found Glenn Morshower through Clubhouse and invited me to come in. And he'd been telling me about it for a while. He's been with him for over a year. His name is Jeff Sarinelli. He recently had a fight scene on Chicago Fire with Taylor Kinney. He showed me the behind the scenes video. It was so cool. In this last season.
Okay.
And yeah, he had some lines, but they cut him. Story of an actor's life. Yeah. But
now, do you get paid though, regardless? I mean, if you say lines, and even though you don't make the project, do you still get paid for saying it?
Yes, you do. You do, and you still get residuals as if you had a speaking role as well. Correct.
That's that's not so bad. I mean, it might burn my ass that I lost the speaking role, but if you're gonna pay me for it and I still get residue,
I've had friends get their entire scene that they were in cut out of the episode. They still get paid.
Yep. Yeah, it's just a little hard when you sit there and you tell people like I'm in the episode, and then you watch it and they're not there.
And then if they cut it out, you never end up getting footage from your reel from it either.
Right, because you have to wait for it airs, right? Then you can go to production and ask them are they very generous with that, Samantha? I mean, if you walk up
I haven't had any experience with that yet. Some people will use programs to pull it from the episode from a streaming service and then pull their scene out of it that way. Yeah, so there's ways to do it if they're not cooperating with you.
Right. I would probably do it that way. I wouldn't want to be a bother to anybody. I still want it for my reel. With the program that would do that, that would to me be much more preferable. So I don't have to, ask somebody for it and be dependent on them. So what was it like when so you didn't like the other teacher? So did you know who Glenn Morshower was before you took his class?
Did you know the name at all? Big fan of The Resident. I've seen all of the episodes of The Resident. Very familiar with this character playing. I love Matt Zuckery. I have a huge crush on Matt Zuckery since the Gilmore Girls. So I actually started watching The Resident because Emily Van Camp was in there, and I absolutely adored her in Revenge. Revenge was a phenomenal show. Highly recommend binge watching that if you've never seen it. It is so good. So she was in Revenge, and then I followed her onto The Resident, and found that the rest of the cast was just delightful. Fell in love with the show, and I mean that one and New Amsterdam, those two of my favorites just got canceled. Favorite medical dramas. But yeah, there's quite a bit of comedy in New Amsterdam too.
Now, what's next for you? I mean, here we are, we're halfway through the point of 2023. So what's next for you? Is it just going to be classes and the stage?
Yeah, I mean, I just took a voiceover workshop with Darren Stevens. So I've got some voiceover practice to do. I'm doing the singing lessons that's taking up a lot of my time practicing with the singing and the exercises that Betsy is giving me. I'm going to Florida here in a few days just to visit an old high school buddy that I reconnected with. The 8th through the 13th, I'll be down there. He's telling me about airboating on the Everglades. And so I'm just taking a break from acting while I'm down there. Just going to have some relaxing fun. Yeah.
It sounds like that's going to be.
And then when I come back, it's going to be working for this play. Because I come back on the 13th and the 14th, this play starts. So I've got to get all the rest of my posters up this week coming up.
Is Chicago a good town for actors?
So Chicago's a big theater town, I would say. Since I want to get into comedy, we don't film a lot of comedy. There's a lot of Second City and improv shows and comedy theater, but we don't film a lot of comedy in this market. I'm told that if I want to get into comedy, that I will need to move markets, like LA or New York, right? So, but yeah, I'm planning on taking some Second City improv, but the character that I'm working on in the short film that I've been filming in, I just started filming on that last week. My character, I get to improv her completely, and it's a lot of fun.
Okay. Do you have questions for our guests? Feel free to drop some questions. Sometimes we get questions, sometimes we do not. I'll ask some questions though. Like, what makes Chicago deep style pizza the best in the world?
Oh my goodness.
It is the best.
It is delicious. I'd say Giordano's is my favorite, but again, I have to be gluten-free, so it's hard to find a deep dish gluten-free. Lou Malnati's has a decent one, but it is expensive. It's like $30. It's ridiculous. It's just, I don't know. It's just the way that it's made, the sauce, the ingredients. I don't know. I've really never had New York pizza to compare it to either.
I don't understand that. I look at New York slices, and there's New York slices, and they have this, and it's all bent over and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't see how that even competes with deep dish. It's like, you just can't. It's like bend it all over, have to hold it.
My kid compares deep dish to lasagna.
Yeah, it's like lasagna is like the perfect food, right? It's like, and deep dish is like the perfect pizza, and it's like I don't understand how you can even compare. Myself,
it's like lasagna.
What's your favorite restaurant in Chicago? I mean, where do you and your daughter like going to the most?
She's a big seafood Red Lobster fan, but Miller's Ale House actually has a pound of snow crab for $20, cheapest you can find it around. So we go there a lot. Outback Steakhouse is a big chain that's everywhere, but I adore it. I'm trying to think if there's a restaurant in downtown LaGrange called Prosino, and it's very, you can get vegan options, gluten-free options, and a lot of their food is just phenomenal. I love it.
I think that's a
braised short rib entree is to die for.
Before my stomach starts grumbling anymore, I'm gonna go ahead and say thank you for coming on and hanging out with us. I absolutely enjoyed it so much. Thank you for giving up on your Fridays to hang out with us. And
if you're in the Chicago area, come see me and come see Being Seen.
I will definitely do that. Once I actually went to Chicago for my honeymoon, so I enjoy Chicago. We enjoy Chicago very much. It's a very fun town. And it has so many different cool places to go. Chicago's fun. I really enjoyed it there.
And
Um,
Chicago actors were definitely expected to do theater. So I'm going to
yeah.
be, there is a Chicago actors, Chicago Theater, I think, .com, where I can start submitting to theater auditions, and I need to get my butt on that.
Well, when you get back from Florida,
Yeah.
hit the hit the ground running. And you'll succeed. You are going to succeed. The next time we talk to you, I expect big things. I know it will happen for you because you're a delightful person and you're very hardworking and you're very talented. Um, I want to thank the chat for coming out and supporting us on a Friday. I appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with us. Hobbs, Casey, Brene, Katie, I saw you up there. Lorenzo, thank you so much. Rocky, thank you guys so much. Before I go,
Oh,
I'll
I'm
let
just
you.
now noticing the chat.
Oh, I should have asked you that earlier.
Oh yeah, I was stuck on the private chat, so I didn't see the comments. Let me see if there's anything that I can respond to before we take off.
Was asking about your cooking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You have to post more
I can
pictures
grill a
of your food.
mean, medium rare steak. I'll tell you that much.
You have to post more pictures of your food. Maybe I should ask you this too, since I mentioned that audience is a lot of horror fans. But what are other than the Saw movies you mentioned before? What are some of your other favorite horror movies?
Oh, geez. Grew
Mhm.
up watching Freddy Krueger, the Nightmare on Elm Street. Um, I loved Stranger Things. My daughter got me into that. Not a movie, but kind of somewhat sci-fi horror-ish, right?
Right.
Um, the Scream movies.
Hmm.
I've seen a lot of the Halloween.
Okay.
I think,
You're hitting all the buttons.
yeah. I'm
Did,
trying to think if there's any. Oh, fun story about Child's Play. I loved that. Loved those Chucky movies when I was a kid. But
okay.
my brother had this My Buddy doll that looked like exactly like Chucky, right? So I was like,
Okay.
"You're keeping that thing away from me."
Oh. Now Chucky dolls are good guy dolls are tremendously they're tremendously popular. Everybody wants a good guy doll. Not me.
No,
I
no,
just
no. Dolls,
I'm just
dolls creep me out. I don't want one of those in my house, but I will watch the movie all day long.
I'm just looking for a Black Phillip Funko doll myself from The Witch. That's what I'm looking for. That's the only thing I want.
Oh,
Um,
I don't know if you've noticed my room in the background, but I am obsessed with Nightmare Before Christmas. My bedding and a lot of my stuff behind me is all Nightmare Before Christmas.
are you a big Christmas? Are you a big Halloween fan?
I love Halloween. Yes.
Do you think-
A lot of the things that I've dressed up for in the past Halloweens are actually on my Instagram. My last Halloween, I was Scarlet Witch from WandaVision.
Okay.
And the one before that, I believe I did Gamora from the Guardians of the Galaxy. Actually, the one before that, I did a bride from the Day of the Dead. And
Oh,
funny story about that, I had glued the flowers to the scarf that I put around my head, the black scarf, and I ended up gluing it to my head by accident. That was a nightmare at the end of the night.
how'd you
You
have
know,
to get
some
it
of my
off?
hair, it's grown back, thankfully. But
You had to cut your hair. Oh, that's not good.
no, I didn't have to cut it, but it did pull it out as I was trying to get the glue out.
That would have hurt.
Yeah.
That would not have been pleasant. That would not have been pleasant. All right, boys and girls. What's coming up here on the channel, real quick? I am out now, but I'll be back Sunday. We're heading over to Ben's channel, the Cadaver Club. We'll be doing the ISC show over there, and we'll be there, and then we'll be back here next week. That's right, the second week of June.
Thanks, Al.
On
Thanks, Habsor, for showing up.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm just
June 6th,
now.
we have Mary Fedor will be with us. She is a life coach. I've never talked to a life coach, so this will be
Oh,
a
my
first.
best friend from high school, Nabiha, she is a life coach as well.
Yeah, it's
Very
gonna be
cool.
fun.
I
I
took
have
her with me to Michael Kostroff's Audition Psych 101 course, and she enjoyed that. But
good.
we grew up together here in Illinois, but she lives in New Jersey now, I believe. So she was in town for that.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
have you ever thought about have you ever used a life coach?
I did a little bit. I did a little
Oh,
bit in the beginning of. I went through a custody battle with my daughter's father, which I would rather not get into. But
no, no.
yeah, it was very. It was helpful when I
Okay.
was going through a very stressful time.
On the 7th, we have the lovely Mariah Owen will be back with us. We have so much to catch up with Mariah on. Her year has been utterly crazy, and we're in fantastical, and we can't wait to talk to her about it. On the 8th, we'll be talking with POTUS. Hyde Raven Knight will be with us at 8 o'clock. On the 9th, we have fine Italian actor, Salvatore Rucoco. He is going to be popping up in the film Padre Pio, which is out now, and he'll also be featured in The Equalizer 3. And he'll be with us here on the 9th. And then on the 10th, me and Echo Zero will be co-hosting the House of Horrors. We're taking over for Steven while he is out of town. So we will
Is
be
that Equalizer with Denzel Washington Equalizer?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved the first one.
Oh, I love
Very
the first two.
badass.
I watched this. I watched
Yeah.
the TV series. I didn't see. I haven't seen any of the new one with Queen Latifah, though I hear it's very very worthy. But I watched the
Mhm.
original one in the '80s with Edward Woodward. I watched
Okay.
that, and then the Denzel did the first two, and I watched those. I have both those. The first one had my favorite actress in it, Haley Bennett. So and
Which
then
movie was it that Denzel did where you could touch somebody and like the demon would move from one person to the other?
I think that was called Fallen.
Oh yeah, that was great too.
Yep.
Is another
So
amazing horror film.
yeah, it's funny is I just picked that up. I picked that a couple of weeks ago. All right, that is it for us. Samantha, stay right where you're at. To everybody else, I'm gonna say goodnight, and I will see you. I will see you shortly. Thanks for coming, and be safe.
Good night.